Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel again. If you are new, just go ahead and subscribe. Today we're going to talk about the corruption in Kenya. So we're going to go into detail how it does affect people, and also we're going to go into detail how it does actually start and how does the cover-up happen. So if you're new to the channel, just go ahead and subscribe and hit notification bell. We're going to be talking a lot about African economy and how we can actually improve our own economy and the young people, how we get affected with the bad decision that our leader take. So let's go ahead and start with this topic today of Kenyan corruption disease. So the first step is, what is the money origins? Every day we talk about the corruption, but we don't understand actually where does the money come from or where all this money come from. So the first step is most of the money come from the debt. Like China's money. Right now Kenya owns almost $9 billion from China, right? So the second thing is taxpayers. The money that taxpayers pay, but how can we actually improve the taxpayers in Africa? We know a lot of people live in Africa don't pay tax, but why? Because we don't have a job. Because the leaders don't focus on creating jobs, but they focus on taking loans. So that's the first step, is the where money comes from. Money comes from the taxpayers and the debt from foreign nations. So the second step is political parties. This political party actually in Africa is very, very dangerous, especially in Kenya. Because the political party in Kenya, they behave as a cartel or mafia. And they have zero interest to the citizen. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about you, they don't care about the citizen. They're only focusing on money. They want to get money. They focus on power, So all this political system is like a dictatorship, but in a way that every 4 years, 8 years, they're going to change who is going to be the president, but they're going to steal the same people with the same agenda. So these political parties, they play a bigger part to actually make sure the corruption goes smoothly and the money doesn't lose or there's no problem. So we talk about now tribalism, or what we call bodies. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about this, there's a lot of tribalism in Africa, just like in the United States right now. There's a lot of racist going on, right? So the tribalism is where people they employ only people from their tribe or people they know or their buddies, their friends. So why do you think the leaders they actually choose to employ people who come from their tribe or people who are actually their friends? It's just simple too. The one reason is for the cover up. They want these people they employ to cover up whenever they steal money, whenever they do some corruption stuff, whenever they have a criminal case, they can actually have these people cover up. So what they do, they take their friends, people from their tribe, and put them in a position like Justice Department, and they put them in like a military, and they put them in a police. So when they control justice, military, and police, that means they control how you make the law, how you get prosecuted, and how you enforce the law. Which means they cannot be affected anytime they do any crime, they steal money or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to talk about now the justice system. A very big problem. One of my friends, he was talking about we should actually remove all the national justice system and create African one justice system just for corruption, because the president most of the country is bigger than the justice. You know why? Because the people who are working in those justice system, they're their friends or their tribemen, right? So in the justice system, there is what you call justice for sale. I'm going to give you an example in Kenya what happened recently. So I was in Kenya like in 2016, 2015, and 2014. I was in Kenya. So what happened is there was this case of this lady, her name is Anne, I think it's Waiguru, something like that, right? Anne Waiguru, I don't know if I pronounced right. So she stole a lot of money from is NYCS, something like that, like a youth department. So she stole a lot of money, billions of shillings, right? But what happened is the story went on the media, was a blast. Everybody talking about the story, but at the end of the day, she went to the court and she was acquitted. And after 3 years or 4 years from that time, she became the governor of another county. So that's crazy, She stole a lot of money. She went to justice because justice for sale. She bought the justice and ended up being acquitted, not guilty, and she got a job to become a governor. So what do you think played over here? The justice was for sale. She was too big to be able to be prosecuted because people who were in the justice, she knew them, or they were tribemates, or they were in the same political party. And again, what happened is the citizens, they were so blind to see that, and they went and voted for her. And I'm saying sometimes you have to blame yourself too. So the other thing is, what I was talking about is citizen silence. How do we treat this case? How do we treat this case of these people who do all this crazy stuff, and they steal the money from you, they steal your funds, and they put in their pocket, and how do we respond to them? It's very crazy that in Kenya, it's actually a culture, has become a norm, you know what I'm saying? It's become normal, people steal money every day, you know what I'm saying, and people don't even react because it's normal. So, one story is, like in Kenya, whenever you do like a mistake, for example, you got stopped by the police, there's this term called kidogo, you know what I'm saying, kitu kidogo, so which means give me small money, I'll let you go. It's crazy that how this stuff became a culture, and this stuff is the only reason that our economy never grow. It's the only reason that we're still suffering. We can't actually build our own industry, you know what I'm saying? So this is the consequence. Right? I'm going to talk about the consequence that actually all this stuff, which is in a system that make the consequence they create to you as a citizen or me as a citizen. So this is what the consequence. The number one is unemployment, right? The Kenyan report that unemployment is about 9.1%. 9.1%, right? Every Kenyan person I know, every Kenyan man, woman I know, they will disagree with this number because this number is fake and it's just made. And this number 9.1% is made by the government for the purpose to put the investors. So the investor will think people have money and then they can come and invest in the country. But this number is fake because I lived in Kenya for almost 3 years, and a lot of people, a lot of my friends, they were broke, unemployed, and the people who were actually employed, they were self-employed, selling stuff on the street, selling stuff in the market. That's how they lived. And all those people, the government, they're counting them as employed people and put a number of 9.1%. For example, right now in the United States, during the pandemic, the unemployment rate reached to 26.9%, which is bigger than this of Kenya reported right here. But here you can still see people have money, go to work and all that stuff. This means this number is fake. You know what I'm saying? So when you become like when you become silenced to all this stuff that that's your politician, that's your leader that are doing, this is what happened. The employment increase. There's gonna be a lack of job. Right now, the average income of Kenyan citizen is $76. $76, which is the average money that American citizens make in a day. That means you're working in a grocery store, you're working in a regular job, you're making about 76 a day. You work at least 8 hours a day, right? But this income in Kenya is for actually a full-time employee who has no hourly wage and who's actually getting paid monthly, and is paying about $76 in a whole month. You can't even survive on that money, right? But this is what happened when you become silenced to all this stuff going on. The government is stealing all this money and they can't actually create jobs. You know what I'm saying? So the other thing is poverty. So how do we come to this poverty and how can we fix it? You know, the first thing I'm gonna say is if the government can stop all this nonsense of taking the money from your citizen, from you, and they take all this money, they should invest the money back in a citizen, back in a youth, back in entrepreneurs, and create a lot of jobs and build these industries which will give a lot of jobs. You know what's gonna happen? The people are gonna get money, they're gonna pay tax, we're not gonna borrow money no more, and also the economy will grow. But the government and the leaders, they're too greedy to understand a simple economic term. That's when you build the industry, you create a job, people get money, they pay tax, and the country become rich. It's a very simple economic strategy. But because of all this corruption, the poverty is increasing, people have no money, they can't afford food, and the country become a third world country. So this is a crisis that in Kenya this happen every day and every year and every quarter, and people they still look at it and they stay quiet, they stay silent because they can't do anything. They think it's normal, and it has become a culture in the society, right? So this is the bigger consequence that happen whenever the country become too corrupt to care about their citizens and about their finance. Right now, the Kenyan national debt has tapped $52.36 billion. $52.36 billion. That's a lot of money for actually a country like Kenya to be all this money to the China or to all this IMF and all this World Bank. It's a lot of money because this money will drain the economy very deep, and it's gonna be very hard for them to come out of this debt when they're not even creating jobs or increasing taxpayers. You know what I'm saying? So how does the Kenya actually try and handle this stuff every day? Very funny thing, you know. I've been in Kenya, so Kenya always increase tax, mostly on the gas, petroleum. So they increase tax. But how can you actually handle a problem like that as an economist? If you're an economist, I don't think increasing tax makes sense in the long term. But increasing the number of taxpayers by creating jobs and employing them would actually resolve the problem in the long term. And I said, so if you're interested into learning more about economic of Africa, join the movement to the economic freedom. Just go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Every day you will be always alert whenever I drop a new video about how we're going to actually overcome this economic problem in Africa. We're not actually poor, but we can actually be able to use our resources to actually maximize the profit and create many more jobs and build our own industry, technology, and everything. Thank you.